Hi designers! In this video I'm going to show you how to take an image of a normal animal, like this barn owl, and colorize it to create a new imaginative species, like the rainbow owl. The first thing you'll need is a high quality, large photo of an animal. You can get this using a Google search. Make sure you turn your search options to large size so that you get a high quality image. And also, you might want to check to see if your image is authentic. You can see this happy little baby elephant here that obviously reminds us all of Dumbo. I actually had to do a search to make sure that the animal itself was not photoshopped, which from everything I can tell, it's authentic. So this cute little photo is the one I'm going to be using for the demo. Once you open your photo in Photoshop, the next thing you're going to do is to use your selection tools to create a selection of the animals. Make sure that your selection is smooth. You can zoom in to ensure that it's smooth and not pixelated. And you can also zoom in and make your brush very small or use the polygonal lasso to subtract any areas like in between the legs or in between two animals. The next thing that you're going to do once you have your animal selected is create a new layer via copy. Come up to Layer, New, Layer via Copy, and that's going to create a copy of just the animals that we're going to colorize on. Now some of you know that you can desaturate the image by holding Command-Shift-U, and that will automatically desaturate your image. That's okay, but what that doesn't give you control over is the value. You can see down here in the shadows they got very dark, and that will be very difficult to colorize. You want to be able to control that value, so instead go up to Image, Adjustments, Black and White, and use the sliders to make sure that you have areas, the full range of values from light to dark, but with few areas of pure white or of pure black, like in the shadows. So I'm also going to pull out some of the red to lighten up the shadows. There we go. In this case, the tusks are white, and that's just fine because I'm not going to really be colorizing those. It's actually going to be convenient if I'm not able to colorize them. Then I'm going to load the selection of the layer, which you can do by holding Command on your keyboard and clicking on the layer thumbnail, which is this little picture of the layer. If you don't have that thumbnail, you should be able to Control-click on your Layers panel and choose the size of thumbnail you would like to see, whether small, medium, or large. Now that you have the selection loaded, you can use the brush tool to start colorizing the image. But before you do that, I forgot one step. You want to create a layer above this. Change the mode of the layer to either multiply or overlay. And just real quickly, multiply will make everything darker. Overlay will make the lights lighter and the darks darker. So for this one, I'm going to use overlay. You can try out the different modes. We are using the brush tool. Make sure you turn the brush tool's mode back to normal because we're using a separate layer. We're just going to put the color on this blank layer. The reason for that is so that if you decide to change a color or if you decide to erase an area, you can do it on this blank layer. Whereas if I colorize on the layer with the animal, for instance, like this, and then I want to erase part of that color, I can't erase without also erasing the animal or erasing back down to my original layer. So it's just a lot more convenient to add the color to a blank layer. Alright, once you have your blank layer and your selection is loaded, you're ready to use your brush tool. Now the key to this is to use neutral colors, neutral versions of the color, because most things in nature are more neutral colors. There are some parrots and things that are brighter colors, so you may want to do that. But let me show you. If I wanted to create a pink elephant, like we see in the movie Dumbo, and I choose that bright pink, and I start to colorize, well, it looks okay. It does show the value and the texture of the animal, but it really looks like radioactive. It doesn't look very natural. So if I just take that same color and I dull it down, I can use that same color, and actually I think I need to undo this and then use that color. And because elephants are naturally gray, this is going to look a lot more natural. Animals also have more than one color on them, so you might also mix colors. You might add some purple or some brown to this. You'll also notice the opacity on my brush is very low. If I had it all the way up, it would be creating a very strong version of that color. Turning the opacity down allows the color to be see-through, and I can blend the colors much better. So take your time, create an interesting, exotic, yet maybe a little realistic looking animal. This was my finished product, inspired by Dumbo with the pink, purple, and blue elephants that you see here. I picked up a lot of those browns that were in the background to try to make it look realistic. Although I did want to show you another example of using bright colors that's really effective. So we have this multicolor giraffe where each one of the spots has been selected and colorized, very effective. Or you could even take inspiration by combining animals, doing something like tiger's stripes on a dog's fur. And before you start thinking that this is such an amazing Photoshop job, this is an actual dog whose owners dyed his fur to look like a tiger. Poor dog. But you could get very close to the same effect by using colorization in Photoshop. Have fun!